Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. Today we're going to talk about some important news. It's a great news for Indian fans in general. India has won the series against England, back-to-back wins. And of course, Rohit Sharma is back. Rohit Sharma has registered 14th win in a row as Indian full-time captain. So that's a big record for Rohit Sharma as well. And his record in T20 cricket just keeps going. It's almost close to 88% as his win record stands at this very point in T20 internationals. And of course, all joy for Indian fans. Some exciting batting approach by India, of course. They told prior to the series that they will be taking up a new approach, a new brand of cricket that they would want to play, and they've shown that the aggressive brand of cricket, which everybody wanted to see. We have seen that. We are seeing that finally from the Indian team as well. Welcome, Sandimani, on the show. How does it feel, and how do you see the series at large? Because this was an important series for India because they were coming up against a strong English side, but it has been all one-sided so far.
Yeah, I think the differentiator has been the bowling, to be honest, because we saw that in the first game, well, one might argue that they had a comfortable total on the board. 198 is a very promising total. But tonight, I think they were 5-10 runs short, and obviously they adopted a new sort of an approach uh, to like playing that all attacking style of cricket, where all the players, some of the senior players are not exactly accustomed to playing these roles, and hence we saw and also Rishabh Pant coming in to open the innings was a good call according to me, because finding a spot for him in the middle order in the T20 international side was like starting to become very difficult, because players like Deepak Hooda, Surya Kumar Yadav, Shreyas Iyer, whoever, whenever one of these players are provided any opportunity, they are turning up for the country and they are scoring some good runs. So, and Hardik Pandya at number 5 looks really stable right now.
Yeah,
And Yeah, just I think the batting was not up to the par, but the way they bowled, Bhuvneshwar Kumar at his best in the power plays, after the power plays as well, he mixing up his pace really well. And well, Bumrah returned in place of Arshdeep Singh,
yeah,
which was bound to happen. But I think I was really excited to see Arshdeep perform for Team India. He was given the debut in the first game, and he proved it why he was up the pecking order. And I
yeah.
definitely felt that he's definitely up the pecking order in terms of players like Avesh Khan and Umran Malik, because I think he has been bowling some good line and length, and he has been in great form. And so and talking about form, I think Deepak Huda, the
Yeah.
way he continued his form in the first T20I as well against England, well, just the approach. It's good to see the approach when you lose your captain Rohit Sharma coming into play after a long time for Team India, gets dismissed
Yeah,
by Moeen Ali. Just from the second ball itself, he took on Moeen Ali, hit him for two back-to-back sixes, getting off the
true,
mark with it. Just
true.
that aggressive intent, that fearless brand of cricket is what India is exactly looking for right now. And it was clear by today's approach tonight, the approach that India took while batting. It was clear. But again, kudos to the bowlers. All the bowlers chipped in really well.
True. I mean, you are pretty right in giving credit to Bhuvaneshwar Kumar because
Yeah.
Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in his best or in his peak is a whole nother gravy, isn't it? Because you know what he brings to the table. He can pick up wickets up front, and on a given day, he can pick you up two wickets, or on a bad day, even on his peak, can pick up one wicket, and that could be a crucial wicket as well. That's what India were missing for a longer period of time. If you look back since 2019 World Cup to 2021, India weren't picking up any wickets in the power play, and that was
Yeah.
a clear indication that Bhuvaneshwar Kumar
And not
went
just
the
the
strong.
wickets, I think the way Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowls in the power play, he is very economical in the power play. So he builds up the pressure from one end, and often we see, okay, whenever Bhuvneshwar Kumar is not picking up the wickets, he is always economical at the power plays. So the
Absolutely
bowler
correct.
coming in from the other end can pick up the wickets.
This is the kind of Bhuvaneshwar
They
Kumar
just
which we saw
capitalize on the
back in
pressure.
2017, 2016, the prime Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, who used to pick up wickets up front, close in towards the death overs. And, one of his biggest strengths is his swing bowling, and that's not, left him at all. And he's still bowling at good high 130s, which is a good sign for Indian cricket and for
Yeah.
Team India because there was this period of time last year, if you remember, that series in Sri Lanka where he dropped down his pace to 115 to 120, and there was no rhythm. The ball wasn't swinging a lot, and you were
It's
questioning his
starting to
pace.
become a bit like one dimensional, like just the slower balls were coming out.
Absolutely, and if you remember, leading into the World Cup as well, he wasn't looking in good rhythm at all, and you saw it in the first game against Pakistan where he was really struggling. And after that, what happened was real bad times for India, and there were also talks about dropping Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. And one thing which you have to give credit to this Indian team management, the new Indian team management, they backed the players quite well. They backed the players to a tilt, and they believed in Bhuvaneshwar Kumar right after the World Cup. They included him in that series against New Zealand, and they knew what Bhuvaneshwar Kumar could bring into the table, and he's delivered with perfection. I've always been a huge fan of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. I always believe that if you're Bhuvaneshwar Kumar on song, he is equal to two ballers because he can do a job towards the back end and also up front, and he can pick your wickets up front like on a given day. Naturally, that's two wickets. Any team who starts innings against India will be 2 for 1 or like none for one, and
Yeah.
that's what's been happening post the World Cup. If you remember, I
And the
feel that
way
New
he's
Zealand.
dismissing those players, like they are no jokes. Like Josh Butler in the form that he is in right now, somebody like a Jason Roy, they were in some great form heading into this series, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar just made them look silly
Yeah,
to some
absolutely.
extent.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to give credit. Thanks, Monu, for that. Glad to have fans like you. We've been able to bring some content to you all with fans like you and your support for sure. So I hope you share our channel. Like those who are watching, like the channel right now. Also subscribe so that we keep going up in the algorithm as well, and we can get more viewers to join in. Yeah, talking back at it again. The approach is one thing which we have all been talking about throughout the course of the series, and which has impressed everybody as well. How do you see this approach sustaining for a longer period of time? Because this is a double-edged sword kind of an approach, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to off, you feel like wow, one approach it is, but when it goes away on a bad day, you could be 5 down for 50 as well with this approach, and that day you would be
And
scrutinizing this
yeah,
particular team and
just
asking questions.
yeah. So talking about the approach, I think today India did not have the best kind of days because if you
Yeah,
think about it, they lost a heap of wickets. Like they lost two consecutive wickets in one over twice. Virat
yeah.
Kohli and Rishabh Pant they lost his wicket in the seventh over, and then again Jordan came back to dismiss Hardik Pandya and Surya Kumar Yadav when they were just starting to get that momentum. So today, if you talk about the approach in the best sort of way, it was not that kind of a day. So it was very good to see somebody like Ravindra Jadeja coming back to the side and doing what he has been doing for Team India in the test matches, saving Team India from major bruises because another wicket at that point and yeah, the tail was up.
I mean,
So
not just that. One thing which I like to give credit to Team India is also that when you play with this certain approach, right? More often than not, your score is definitely going to be up. It's on a bad day if you're taking a defensive approach or like a tentative approach. I would like to say, you might get all of a 120, but with this approach, you would get enough runs straight up that even if you lose wickets in cluster, you'd end up on a good 150 to 160 rather than being out on 120 to 110. That is why this approach is rewardable. You saw that with many teams. For example, this team England, right? This team England brought in the state into this T20 cricket and white ball cricket by playing a certain brand of cricket, and it has reaped them very good rewards if you look in the longer run, which has made them play in a couple of World Cup semi-finals in T20 cricket and made them win a T20 one-day World Cup as well with that similar approach. I like to see if India carries on this approach into the another one-day format as into the one-day format as well, because it is so important for India to play that man in one-day format as well, because India has been playing little tentative in the one day format. We've seen that. Hence, the results hasn't gone our way in the one day format, especially since the 2019 World Cup. We've lost a series in South Africa. We've lost series in Australia. We've lost in
yeah,
New Zealand as well. So that's going to be so important for us. Uh, yeah, so yeah, that's going to be so important for India. And never mind, my voice is pretty bad today because I've been very sick. I've been down with cold as well. So yeah, just don't mind that. I'll
that's what we
I'll
have
take
been
some
doing. We have
questions.
been coming on every day, like whatever be the situation, we have to cover the games, right?
Yeah, if you give me a yeah, yeah, Monu, we will try to follow you back. Nonetheless, Sanimani coming to you on this particular thing as well. Virat Kohli, how is he supposed to bat in T20 cricket, right? Because we've spoken about Virat Kohli more than enough in our last podcast actually,
Yeah.
regarding how he should change his approach and how he should start scoring runs. See, what is in his hand, he's supposed to do that pretty well, which is to score runs. You can't say whatever's off the field, whatever happened with him off the field regarding captaincy, regarding all those things. Let's keep that all aside. Let's talk about him and what is in his control. Should he play that manner of cricket? Because Virat Kohli, whenever he scored once in T20 cricket, he's taken it in a different way. He has taken the time initially, then pays his innings. Because if you look at his strike rate towards the back end, it's close to 200, right? And That's why you know Virat Kohli for that particular thing. And this team requires an anchor as well. If you look at all the top teams who play a certain brand of cricket like this, you saw that with New Zealand as well. When they take that particular approach, you have Kane Williamson as the anchor. With England, it's David Milan as the anchor. With Australia, you have Steve Smith as the anchor when they play that certain brand. So can Virat Kohli be the anchor rather than being that aggressor up front? Because it is so unlike Virat Kohli to be that aggressor, isn't it?
Yeah, and the way he got dismissed tonight, I think he was sort of a bit under pressure. You have to be under pressure because of the all the things that you're hearing and all the like attraction that you're getting of the field. So he had to be at his best, and he was under pressure. We could see that, and hence that false shot came so early in his innings. We know Virat Kohli still averages over 50 in T20 internationals, so he knows exactly how he needs to go about his game. So I don't think even the team management, even if India are going to adopt this sort of aggressive intent where they are coming out and coming at the bowlers right from ball one, I don't think they will tell too many things to Virat Kohli on how he should play. I think tonight he just thought that okay, since all the boys are going in, like coming in and just going after the bowling, I should do that too. But
Yeah.
I am sure that with some time, like they just started attacking right from this series, and one might argue even from the Ireland series. But give it some time. I think India is going to play a bit more sensible on that front. That they are going to keep one or two anchors who will keep on playing throughout the innings, and then the attacking batsmen, the aggressors, can come in from the other end and score those quick
I mean,
runs.
that's why I feel Virat
So
Kohli is going to be such a
we-
focal point for this particular lineup
yeah,
because with a lot of aggressive teams and with a lot of aggressive approach which teams have adopted in the past, we've always seen that one anchor holding one end up, and it's so
yeah,
important because if you have these wickets fall in cluster like what we saw today, you need an anchor over there, and that's one thing which a lot of teams have missed over the years as well. And even with England in one day cricket, you see Joe Root being that particular anchor for the longest period of time. Now Joe Root doesn't really feature in any of the one day sides. He does in white ball cricket, sometimes, but Joe Root was
yeah.
so important for England in winning that World Cup as well because he was that focal point in holding one end up. Same thing for even New Zealand, as Kane Williamson, as I previously mentioned. So Virat Kohli is going to be such a big focal point because we've been talking about players replacing Virat Kohli in T20 cricket. You already saw Kapil Dev come out and saying that why shouldn't Virat Kohli be dropped? But then in this particular approach, you need someone like Virat Kohli to hold one end up because his record in T20 cricket is second to none, and he's your leading run scorer in T20 history, and he's been the leading run scorer for you in the last 12 months as well in T20 cricket. Though you talk
Yeah.
about all the criticism towards him has been that he's not been scoring runs, but in the last 3 years, he's been your leading run scorer in T20 cricket and in white ball cricket as well in general.
I
So
think it's because of
that's
his
been
consistency, and a lot of credit should go to him because he has taken a lot of off throughout the last 1 year or 1.5 years. We have seen Virat Kohli taking not if repeated breaks, but he has taken breaks at consecutive intervals. Like if he plays one or two series, he has been taking a break in one of the T20I series or missing one of the ODI series, which we
yeah.
hadn't seen from Virat Kohli, say, in his early days. Since till 2018-19, if you remember, I don't recall Virat Kohli taking too many breaks. But after
I
this
mean, there are a
2020,
lot of
2020,
reasons behind bio bubble as well because
yeah, the
these
bio bubble
breaks,
factor definitely plays in.
these
But
breaks
I,
are so much being due to bio bubble fatigue, as players would term it, because bio bubble
yeah,
fatigue has really got into players. Hence they are asking for a lot more breaks. They want to really get out of the bio bubble, get themselves refreshed because in bio bubble you're restrained to a lot of things, and mentally it gets to you. And when you're playing in highly competitive cricket, you tend to break down. Uh, Teju, that's exactly what we're talking about. Deepak Huda, you get again one-dimensional approach, but with Virat Kohli, being that anchor in this team could be doing India a world of good going into the World Cup because Deepak Huda is still an untested commodity. And you're talking about Virat Kohli, the World Cup team needs Virat Kohli because you have seen that in the Pakistan game as well. India might lose a couple of wickets up front, and you will need that experience of Virat Kohli to step up at that very point. And Virat Kohli, you know him how he likes to step up in big occasions. And if India is going to take that approach, India would need Virat Kohli to be the anchor because uh, people can play around him in that particular faction, and he can hold one end up as well. And he towards the death overs, his striking zone against pace is very good. His major downfall
but I
has
think
been his
Teju has
strike rate
brought up
towards
a very
pace.
good point with in the fact that Deepak Huda has been in great form. There's no arguing the fact that if a player is in good form, he's definitely going to score runs. We have
Yeah,
seen from the example of somebody like a Johnny Bairstow. Like he's the sort of player who nobody would have backed to score
absolutely,
the amount of runs that he has scored over the last month in Test cricket. But
truly.
he has been doing it because he has been in good form and the team has backed him. So I
Truly.
think if
And
Deepak would have,
another thing is that Teju, I would really like to see Virat Kohli open the batting in T20 cricket rather than playing a number three because I think him opening the batting is the best way to go forward. If you remember one of the matches against England back in Ahmedabad, the 50 20, if I remember, in 2021,
yeah.
where Rohit and Virat opened the batting, they notched up 150, run partnership between each other. And that match, India went out to score 224. And that's what you get from Team India, right? When Rohit Sharma and
I
when your
think
two
that is
best
the
batters
only way to sort of get Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli in particular playing, if he has to play for the long run till the World Cup
yeah,
at least. I think Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma opening, and then with the form that Deepak Huda is in right now, I think they should capitalize on it. Get
yeah,
Deepak Huda at number 3, number
yeah.
4, number 5, number 6. It's almost fixed because uh, we just have to see how Dinesh Karthik goes about.
I
Just
think it'll
to
be
the
still a toss-up between Rishabh Pant and Dinesh Karthik. I don't see both featuring in the same team.
yeah.
My only way to this particular
No,
way,
I am saying
or my only
number 4 is Surya
solution,
Kumar Yadav, number 5 is Hardik Pandya. So for that
yeah,
number 6 slot, I think they are going to have a toss up between Dinesh Karthik and Rishabh Pant, and it will be interesting to see how Dinesh Karthik goes about his game right till the lead up to the T20 World Cup, because that is going to decide,
yeah.
his form is going to decide whether he's going to get the nod ahead of Rishabh Pant, which looks a bit unlikely to me right now. But you never know, because India have been sort of taking on a new approach, new sort of aggressive approach. So they might
I mean, it's
take
so
some harsh
important to
calls.
take that approach. There is no denial in that. And my only solution to fitting in Deepak Huda into the playing 11 when he's in this purple patch is to play him at number three and Virat Kohli moving one step ahead. Because as I keep repeating, it's my third time I'm repeating this, you need an anchor. And Deepak Huda has been in red hot form, playing that certain way where he's taking on ballers from the word go. And hence, I would like to see Deepak Huda in this team as well. And you're talking about Deepak Huda is still an untested commodity. He's just played 3 innings for you in T20 cricket, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
people are rating him. Two of them were against not as potent a bowling lineup, maybe as in Australia or Pakistan, or maybe a full strength
Yeah, I
England
think
squad as well.
the only concern for Team India, like, is the fact that England have not been playing their top
Yes,
bowling lineup. I think
yes.
they
So
are going
you can't
to,
really,
yeah.
there's a thing with us Indian fans, especially, right? We hype up a player with a couple of innings and we bring him down so easily.
That's just
If
because of
Virat
the
Kohli goes,
competition. You have to understand that there is a
yeah,
lot of competition going on for that top 6 places. Not just the
right.
top 6 places, even the bowlers. If somebody like a Arshdeep Singh, Avesh Khan on a continuous basis, if they continue to knock at your door, I think some of the bowlers like Harshal Patel is definitely going to feel the pressure. Although India
No,
have sort of
I
made
mean
it clear that Harshal Patel is going to feature.
there's definitely huge competition in Indian cricket, and there's no doubt
Yeah,
about it because you've seen that with that amount or plethora of talent we've got in all positions from opening to number 11, we have a player waiting on the ranks for every position. That's why every player is under pressure when they go on to perform for India, except your captain. Every player is under pressure. Let it be even Jasprit Bumrah. I'm sure that. Uh,
yeah,
he will also feel pressure if he doesn't perform for like a cluster of 6 to 7 matches. All of a sudden, everybody will be calling for his head as well. Everybody will be like,
yeah,
drop her, just Bumrah, bring in like an Avesh Khan, Arshdeep Singh. But then you have to also remember you're going to a World Cup, you're not going to a bilateral
yeah,
series. Not that you're looking at the future right here. It's time for you to focus on the World Cup and you have to build a squad, a consistent squad towards the World Cup. I reckon we've got like close to 15 games after the series to the World Cup. We have series against West Indies, we have Asia Cup, the Zimbabwean series, and a series against South Africa, if I'm not wrong. So it's going to be so important for India to build that squad so consistently leading into the World Cup.
yeah. I think, yeah, we have a few games going in before the World Cup. We will see a lot more players getting their opportunities. So I think it's still early to decide on what is going to be the composition of the Indian team in the World Cup. But we
Yeah,
can, like, none of the players can take their positions for granted. That's one thing that I think is going to be the case going forward, because I just to sum everything up about Virat Kohli in tonight's innings, I think that is the way he got out. That is not how Virat Kohli scores his runs. Whenever
yeah,
he has been successful in T20 cricket, he has taken 5-10 balls to rotate the strike,
yeah,
get the singles going in, and then once he's set, after playing 15-20 balls, he has taken the attack on the bowlers.
absolutely.
Taken the
I mean,
bowlers.
Virat Kohli should just be himself right now, and he shouldn't be, just feeling the pressure of taking this new approach. I think it's also important for team management to go to him and tell to him that just play the way you are known to play. Just be the Virat Kohli that you are, the player that we all know him to be, because he has got an average of 52 in T20 cricket just by playing that conventional way of play. Because he takes minimal
Yeah.
risk, he
And
still finds
you
gaps.
can't question him because his strike rate is pretty good as well. It's close to
Yeah,
125, 130. It's very good for a anchor, so as to speak. Because in other teams, if you think about Kane Williamson, he has not been in the best of forms. Joe
yeah.
Root, whenever he was playing T20 for cricket for England, another concern was Steven Smith playing T20
I
cricket
mean,
for.
Steven Smith has been a major concern for Australia because his strike rate is 100, batting at number 5 for Australia. So, so that is
Yeah,
a
I think that
major
is
issue.
not justified when you're batting at number 5. But if you're having a strike rate of close to 100, and you're having an average of close to 50 in T20s, batting at number 3, I think it's a pretty good job because you have to understand your roles in the team. For Team Australia, there is just, Aaron Finch, David Warner, Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis, comprising
Absolutely.
like the other players who are comprising the top 5 for
And not
Australia
just
in
that,
T20s.
let's be also objective over here in pointing it out that if Virat Kohli doesn't score runs, even in the West Indies series, if he plays the West Indies series, you might be thinking ahead of Virat Kohli for the T20 World Cup. Ultimately, you want India to win the World Cup, right? And you don't want to be
Yeah,
one player. If a player's not scoring runs, if you're going to keep backing him again and again, if he keeps failing, it's not going to do his confidence any good. And that's where you
yeah, yeah,
drop a player, you tell him to go back to the basics, go to the domestic cricket, score runs, and come back. And that should be the case with any player. You have also seen the greatest. Sachin Tendulkar played domestic cricket for Mumbai whenever he did not score runs. He has come back. If you remember 2005 when he got that tennis elbow injury, he went to the domestic cricket. He scored runs, came back, and scored runs for India
yeah,
again. So
exactly. You have to keep your head grounded and just taking breaks at random and not playing those domestic. Like you take a break, you go back and play domestic cricket. It's not that
yeah,
you are taking a break because of biobubble fatigue and just sitting at home. That won't
yeah,
do you any good. I
yeah.
think if he needs a break,
I
he
like
has
that.
to go
I
out
like
there,
a
play those
very.
domestic
I like
cricket.
to point out a very important point here. Irfan Pathan, when that West Indies squad for the one day series was announced, you saw some big names were missing out with the likes of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and I think Rishabh Pant also was missing out. But I'll give credit to Rishabh Pant because he was playing for a longest period of time in this Indian team. So
Yeah.
he pointed out by stating that nobody comes back into form by sitting at home.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I've been saying, that you will not get back to form by sitting at home. So I think this series is going to be very important for Virat Kohli. The ODI series that is left and the another T20I that is remaining. So the 4 games will decide on how like people are going to perceive Virat Kohli and how they are going to have a verdict, like because I can definitely say you that the external factors will definitely play into account when the selectors are picking a team, because all the social media being so important right now, it really plays a factor. It definitely plays on the back of your mind. Okay, this
Yeah,
player
it
has
does. It does.
scoring well.
Certainly does.
For-
You have to give that benefit of the doubt to the players as well, because there's a lot of pressure going around when you don't perform. Everybody will call for your head, and let it be from uh, people
yeah, and,
like
and
us
it's been
who
a
sit
long
and
time
talk
now,
about
so it's
cricket.
it's been
So,
like you can say 1.5 year for Virat Kohli not scoring consistent 50s in T20Is and ODIs as well. I think this
I mean,
year he hasn't
I
had.
think it's been one year, but he's been scoring 50s in T20 cricket, but there has not been conversion into those impactful knocks, right, in the
Yeah,
last
70,
one year.
75 not outs,
75,
which we
80.
are familiar to seeing Virat
Yeah.
Kohli like play
Yeah,
those
and it's so
70,
important to
75
play
not
the
out
impactful
sort of
knocks
knocks.
in T20 cricket. And
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
also
yeah.
seeing T20 cricket change a lot, right? There was a time, let's talk about 2016 or 2014 to 2020 or 2019 at least. There was an era where people could still get away in T20 cricket by scoring those 130 strike rate runs, and where people felt that was what was needed in T20 cricket. But when you're part of that approach, you also have to carry on playing in a certain way. Even if Virat Kohli is the anchor, he should maintain his strike rate at 130 at the least. He cannot drop down to 110, which puts pressure on his other compatriots as well, who's going to bat alongside with him. And that's where
Yeah.
T20 cricket has gone to that dimension where you are
Yeah, but
supposed to
that
bat.
you have to understand, that you have to assess the conditions as well. I think the conditions play a huge role in
Yes, it
deciding
does.
that.
It
And
does.
conditions is something that a lot of people they sort of neglect what the conditions are. Whenever you're coming to play a T20 cricket, people are expecting the team has to score 200, 210 to beat England. That's not the case, because if you consider the first T20I think it was a very difficult pitch to bat on, like chase while batting second. So I think
Yeah.
it was a very good call from Rohit Sharma to sort of win the toss and
I mean,
say that
I
okay.
quite like the call from Rohit Sharma. I don't mind India losing the tosses in every match and India being put into bat, because you saw it in
Yeah,
the last T20 World Cup, right? India were put into bat in the two games against Pakistan and against New Zealand, and we
and
failed
that just
miserably.
hampered their chances, that just
Exactly.
brought them the knockout, like
And
got
that's
them
what I'm
the
talking
knockout.
about. You need to be
Yeah.
prepared for the worst during these bilaterals, because these bilaterals ultimately do not even count. So you are always going to be preparing for that ultimate thing, which is the World Cup. And in these bilaterals, is when you are going to test your approaches, you're going to test yourself, you're going to put yourself in situations where you are going to be, feared by. And that's why I feel India should be looking to challenge themselves even more by putting themselves in tougher situations, because you take this as practice opportunities leading into that World Cup. Though you want your results to go in your way, because it's obviously going to be the momentum, which is going to be such a big factor going into that World Cup. But then you have to put yourself in these challenging positions as well, because in the World Cup, you don't want in an important game you're put to bat first, and you do not know how to go about it. Because I know India are a very good team chasing, and we have been always a good team chasing. It's been the case with us since, I think, since Dhoni has taken over India. I think since 2008 we've been a very good team chasing, but are we a good team setting a target? And we have seen
Yeah.
that in the recent past, where we are a very bad team setting a target.
And that
So
is when we have to assess the conditions, I think, because in the first T20I, if India, if some of the lower middle order batsmen, in like somebody like a Dinesh Karthik, Hardik Pandya, understood his role perfectly. He knew that
yeah,
he has to sort of get in a bit, because from the other end, India were, I think, cruising at 157, 58 at the end of 15 overs. But since they did not have any wickets left at the right at the end, they could manage only close to 40, 41 runs in the last five. The pitch was starting to become difficult to bat, and that is where I think you have to assess the conditions. Tonight's game, I think Virat Kohli could have sort of, not just Virat Kohli, I think all the players. India had a very good start, 6 over 61 for one. I think you would back Team India to finish on a total close to 170, 180, 190 at least. So I think on that aspect, they were 10, 20 runs short. And if England would have batted properly, like batted in the way that we know them to bat, and if India's bowling wouldn't have been so clinical, I think this total was going to be easily chased down. And
yeah.
that's why kudos to Rohit Sharma, because he understood what sort of bowlers to be used. The bowling changes were immaculate. It was absolutely perfect. He used Bhuvneshwar Kumar 2 overs up front. He used Bumrah in right situations when he thought that okay, the team was going to go after him, and did not keep 3 overs for Bumrah right at the end. I think one of the turning points in the game was Bumrah picking up Butler's wicket in the fifth over, in the start
I
of the
mean,
fifth over.
it was Liam Livingston, not Butler, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Livingston's wicket.
Butler.
Yeah,
Butler has
Butler was
been
again out to
okay. I have
Bhuvneshwar
a funny
Kumar.
thought about it. I think whoever has been in the English captain in the recent past has failed miserably, and Butler is carrying on Owen Morgan's legacy of going in single digit scores.
No, I
It's
you have
it's
to
an
understand that
I'm just
Bhuvneshwar Kumar
joking.
has
I'm
been
just
bowling in
joking.
some
I'm just
great
joking.
rhythm, great line. Any
Guys,
player would find it
Butler
very
fans,
difficult.
don't take it seriously. I'm just joking. It's
Yeah.
just a joke. I know there are a lot of Butler fans in India, and he's got one of the biggest fan following, especially the Rajasthan Royal fans. They're gonna go at
Forget
me
Butler.
today.
I think even in franchise cricket, if Bhuvneshwar Kumar would have been bowling in this form, I think Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, they
Yeah,
would have got out
yeah,
like really cheap
absolutely,
on plenty of
absolutely.
occasions.
And Bhuvneshwar Kumar in song, even against the greatest of batters, right? We've seen him
Yeah.
trouble. AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. In IPL, you've seen him with Chris Gayle as well. Chris Gayle used to fear facing him. Chris Gayle used to dominate the other ballers, but when he comes up against Bhuvneshwar Kumar, he used to fear, because that is the ability to take the ball in and away so consistently, which puts the doubt in the batsman's mind. And that's why I felt Bhuvneshwar Kumar, the test bowler, was culminated a lot earlier than what one would have thought of, because Bhuvneshwar Kumar
Yeah.
was just peaking in the test format, and that's when he got injured. I thought if he was there in the South African series and the English series in test format, maybe, man, that scoreline would have been
Yeah.
something else, because you know what he brings to the table. The
Talking
last
about
match
the
he played
test
in,
format, I think another bowler that they can try on in T20s is Mohammad Shami. I think I have been saying it for a long time
no,
now. He has
I would never have Mohammad Shami, because two
no,
reasons
because
why.
he have been having some good
Yes,
seasons
you're
in the
right.
IPL for the
So,
last
so
4 years.
for me, I have an interesting thought for this. You can have one of those kind of ballers. You can have one Bhuvaneswar Kumar, one Mohammad Shami. Bhuvaneswar Kumar, I'll have him because even if he has a very bad performance towards the death end, I would still have him for his earlier bowling abilities. But I can't have two ballers who are going to only give me overs up front. I need a bowler at depth, and that's why you need over specific roles kind of bowler. Harshal Patel can bowl
Yeah, I
very well
think
at the
Mohammad
death.
Shami on his day can be a very good bowler at the death. I feel so. I feel
Yes,
so.
yes,
And
yes, but
considering the fact that India is going to play in Australia, I think, and with Ravindra Jadeja being a player for India at number 7 and
yeah.
Hardik Pandya being the sixth bowling option, I think they can even go in with four pacers for
I'd
a
really
couple of
like to
games.
see if Kuldeep Yadav is fit, if India goes in that with that old combination of Kulcha, because you know when
No,
Kulcha
that
is
is
fit
unlikely
with
for the
Hardik Pandya.
T20 World Cup. Yeah, for if you're talking about the ODI World Cup that is coming up next year,
Yeah,
I
I'm talking
think
about ODI World Cup at least,
yeah,
because in T20 World
I
Cup
think
I
that will
think
be a very interesting call because I think the World Cup is being played in India, and
yeah,
Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal together has wreaked havoc against oppositions in India and
absolutely.
England, wherever South Africa. They have been way too dominant, picked up way too many wickets in the middle overs, sort of stemming the momentum of the opposition.
If you remember, in T20 cricket as well, for a brief period from 2017, 2019, these two bowlers used to wreak havoc, across the world. I'll take you back to that series against England in 2018.
Yeah,
It was England who were the most feared team in the world because they were playing that new approach, which nobody knew how to stop them. Right, nobody knew how to
yeah.
stop them, and that's when Kuldeep Yadav came, picked up 5 wickets in that match, and they did not have answers. And next
And
match
it looks
again,
so effortless because all the players were finding it very easy to bat against any other players. Whenever Kuldeep was coming in, it suddenly seemed there is a lot of move, like a lot of spin in the
yeah,
track. The ball was
yeah.
spinning both ways,
And
and
that's what I would
yeah,
like to see from India if India goes in with Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal. But India, I don't think will go with them because in Australia, we'll all agree to the
yeah. Not
fact
for the
that
Australian thing. I definitely would like to
yeah,
like see Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal
yeah,
play
for
another
50
game for
overs at
India
least.
in the ODIs.
Absolutely. I like to see them in the 50 overs, but then even T20, I like to see them, but I considering the World Cup is going to be in Australia, the grounds are going to be bigger for sure, but then it's going to be earlier on the season. I think the World Cup is going to be played between October to November, which is the early part of season in Australia, because we often see the World Cups in Australia being played during March to February, which is the latter part of the season where the ball tends to turn slightly compared to the early part of the season. Early part of the
Yeah.
season, I believe there'll be a slight bit of grass on the surface, which will definitely help the fast ballers more than the spinners. So I don't really see spinners getting anything at all. I'll be
Yeah,
very
that is why
surprised if
I
a
was
spinner has a breakthrough World Cup.
talking about Mohammad Shami. That was the point that I wanted to get across because if India decides to go with four pacers and just the one spinner in the form of Jadeja
Yeah.
for 1 or 2 games, I'm not saying that you have to play four pacers in all the games. Just try it out. If you have to play that, then I think Mohammad Shami, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah, and somebody like a Harshal Patel or Avesh Khan, whoever they decide to be their death over bowler, can be a very good
I mean,
combination
I'd like
to
to see
save the
Harshal
runs first.
Patel improve a little bit on his batting front because he's got the potential. So,
Yeah,
I hope the team management goes to him and says just work a little bit harder on your batting potential, because if he unleashes his batting abilities, because this team looks even more stronger. Because then you have batting until 8, like genuine batting until 8, then you
see, if
can keep
Jadeja
playing a
does
certain
not
bit
play
of
and
approach.
Akshar Patel plays, so in case when Jadeja is
I would not
injured,
have Akshar Patel because you saw even with Jadeja today
yeah, no,
what he
not just
offers, right?
Akshar Patel, just have another bowler or a bowling all rounder in place of Jadeja. I think Jadeja is the best suited for Team India at number 7, and after that there is a huge gap between like Jadeja and the rest.
Rest, yeah,
Because
absolutely, and that's
if
why your
any other
batting
player
depth
plays at
becomes
number
less.
7, you feel that the batting is not there is not enough depth in the batting. When
Yeah.
you are batting till Dinesh Karthik coming in at number 6 is your last batter.
I mean, that's where
So
I like to see if Harshal Patel really ups his game with bat, because I've seen
yeah,
him with Haryana in the domestic circuit where he absolutely scores runs, and he scores runs at a very good pace as well.
yeah, he has been good for Haryana. I think even in the Mustaq Ali, he had a very good one or two games. I think one season he had a very good season with the bat for Haryana. So I definitely feel that if even if they are going with this sort of combination where they are playing a spinner in the form of Chahal, because let's get it straight, because Yuzvendra Chahal is not your batter. He'll not give you runs with the bat.
Hmm.
So with just with Bumrah and Chahal, they are not your, like, they are your number 10, number 11. You
Yeah.
have Bhuvneshwar Kumar coming in at number 9, so you have to have a player at number 8 who can slog with the bat, because India will definitely need that if they don't have Jadeja. If they have Jadeja, you think that yeah, okay, it's fine, because still number 7 they have really good batting, world class batting till number 7. At number 8, you can have a sort of a bowler coming in and trying to.
I would really like to see if Harshal Patel improves his batting, but at the same time, if Deepak Chahar, right, we're not counting him in because he's injured for the longest period of time. If Deepak Chahar is fit, and you know what Deepak Chahar brings into the
But
foil
then
as well,
again, the question is, would you want to see Deepak Chahar and Bhuvneshwar Kumar in a
Bhuvneshwar
team
Kumar the
when
same
you
team.
don't want to
It's the
see
same team between
Mohammad
Mohammad
Shami
Shami
and
and Bhuvneshwar
Bhuvneshwar
Kumar.
Kumar?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the same thing. But then he offers a lot more with the bat compared to Mohammad Shami.
Yeah,
That's my only point of contention because Deepak Chahar with the bat has been a much improved player if you look in the last 2 years, where he's been scoring runs for Team India consistently. And he scored, he has taken India out of holes a couple of times, if I remember, in international cricket. And that's what you need from a number 8 batsman, number 7 batsman. And he was developing into this very nice bowling all rounder who could contribute towards the latter end with the bat as well. But now looking ahead, tomorrow is the next game. Let's not forget that we're going to be back again tomorrow because another game is going to be played, and we have 2 consecutive days of cricket for India. Would you like to see some changes in the 11?
I think definitely there are going to be some changes in the 11, but I think I definitely want to see Virat Kohli scoring some runs because it's
Yeah,
been long. And
don't tell about that. That's the most cliche answer any Indian can give at this very point of time because so the
yeah, I
last
just
two
want
years
to see
everybody's saying
Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma perform well with the bat, and Jasprit Bumrah get some good game time in the T20s because we haven't seen Bumrah play a lot of T20s over the
yeah,
in the
and
last 12
especially for
months.
India.
Yeah, especially for India. Yeah, definitely. So I
I
want
like to see Ravi Bishnoi getting a go ahead of Yuzvendra Chahal, maybe just to throw him in the deep end. I would really
no,
like to see
I
how
would
he
still
steps
keep
up.
Chahal. I don't think there is any need to
No,
try out
because
Bishnoi.
you would never know, right? You are going to be testing your players. As I mentioned earlier, this is your best opportunity to try your players, put them in the deep end because you're talking about a World Cup where, just a game before the semi final, you're going to be having a niggle of Yuzvendra Chahal,
Yeah.
a concussion where he's been ruled out. Anything can happen. That's why you want your bowler to be ready, who's on the wings, who's on the
But
bench at least.
it is very interesting to see that India have selected Bishnoi ahead of some of the other spinners for this time around. Like
I would
they
love to
have been
say
liking
Rahul
Bishnoi.
Chahar. Rahul Chahar would have been my second spinner in the pecking order ahead of
Yeah, definitely Rahul Chahar with
Bishnoi.
the form that he was in the IPL. I think
And
Bishnoi, they
let's not
have gone for
forget,
Bishnoi
Rahul Chahar
because
was the bowler who got the nod ahead of Yuzvendra Chahal in the T20 World Cup last time, and he's not even
yeah.
there in the T20, T20 scheme of things this year.
And it is very strange because Rahul Chahar, we were talking about the batting perspective, batting side of it. Bishnoi is a batter exactly like Chahal. He is no better. But if you talk
Yeah,
about Rahul Chahar, Chahar was a decent batter. You can bring him in at number 8, number 9, and he
yeah,
can do the job for you with the
yeah,
bat as well. So
yeah,
I think I definitely would have opted for Rahul Chahar. But I think I
yeah.
understand the fact that they are going with Bishnoi because
That's
he
another
has
school of
the age.
thought. That's another school
Yeah.
of thought. And also, I would have loved to have had Ravi Ashwin in this team because we often talk about finger spinners not being potent in white ball format. Their inability to pick up wickets, but at least they are. I believe they're still relevant in T20 cricket because, especially a bowler of Ravichandran Ashwin's stature, he had a very good series against New Zealand. If I'm not wrong, his economy
Yeah.
was under 4. And he was picking up wickets consistently as well. And whatever games he got in the World Cup as well, he was picking up wickets. I really would have liked to have had Ravichandran Ashwin not in the playing 11, at least in the squad, because Ravichandran Ashwin, you know what he can bring. He can bring in batting as well. So him batting at number 8 also lengthens your batting order a little
But
bit.
again, I
And
did not exactly understand this call from the selection from the selection management side because Ashwin, okay, in the 4 5 years in between, he was really neglected. Not neglected, he was not in the best of forms in the shorter format of the game. But once he made his revival, like once we saw him perform really well in the World Cup, he had a good series in New Zealand. He had a very decent IPL this time around, and
very
suddenly
good
again he
IPL. I
was
mean,
not
not decent
thought
IPL.
about.
This was his best IPL, I believe, in last 3 to 4 years at least.
Yeah,
And
so
he was
I again I
pretty
don't understand why Ashwin was not selected because if you can compare between Ravi Bishnoi and Ravi Chandran Ashwin, I
I would
think
have
even
had
in the
Ravi
IPL
Ashwin, man.
Ashwin there is
I
no
mean, I
comparison.
know there's this genuine liking towards leg spinners in white ball cricket, and Ravi Bishnoi has done
And
nothing wrong.
also I think Ravi Bishnoi because he has the age on his side. He's just 19
Yeah,
20. So India are thinking that okay, we can back this talent, we can
yeah,
groom him to be a better
yeah.
bowler.
Okay, there are two reasons why I believe Ravi Bishnoi gets a nod ahead. One is age. Another thing is his fielding ability because Ravi Bishnoi is a live wire on the field. You've seen
Yeah.
him pull out some crazy catches in the IPL, in the last two IPLs at least, and he's also a very good bowler when batters are trying to attack against him because He's a very different kind of a leg spinner. You put him in the same category like someone like a Rashid Khan, because he's a quicker leg spinner. He doesn't turn the ball much. He's got a very good googly which comes into you, and he's only got a googly, I believe. I've not really seen a leg spinner from Rahul from Ravi Bishnoi for a longest period of time.
Long time, yeah.
And his release points, okay, and he's more potent against left-handers than right-handers. So let's not forget that as well, because with a leg spinner, you often say that to into the left-hander they take you on to all part of the square, but with Ravi Bishnoi, he takes the ball away from the left-hander quite well, and that's why he's a potent potent bowler towards the left-handers. And Ravi Bishnoi, maybe he doesn't offer you a lot with the bat. That's why Ashwin comes into the picture as well. In T20 cricket, you need batting depth. Ballers can win you matches. Of course, ballers do win you matches, but then batting depth with
This
such a
series
batting
has been
approach
the
is only so
perfect
crucial.
example of bowlers winning you matches, because both the games, I think it was the bowling from Team India that did the job for them. One
Absolutely,
might say they
I've
had
always
198 on the board
I've
in the
always
first
been
game.
a firm believer of batters win you matches and ballers win you championships, and that's you
Yeah,
look at Gujarat Titans, right? You've seen the prime Mumbai Indians. You've seen some of the greatest teams who have dominated T20 cricket over a period of time. They've all had great bowling attacks, and ballers win you championship, and that is it. Period. Whichever team has got the best bowling attack will go on to do well in whichever tournament you play in. And India now trying to build a very good bowling arsenal, for example, with the likes of Arshal Patel who can ball in the middle overs, Bumrah who can ball up front and in the death, Bhuvneshwar Kumar who can come in and give you the opening burst, Pandya who can ball throughout the middle overs and up front, Yuzvendra Chahal who will control, Ravindra Jadeja can be that controller and that 2 overs bank whenever you need if Hardik Pandya is not going well. So I don't see Jadeja to be a 4 over bowler in T20 cricket. He's going to be a balance. He and Hardik Pandya are going to be a balance who's going to chip in with 2 overs, 3 overs, 3 overs, 1 overs, 4 overs on a good day. So
yeah.
that's what happens with these two ballers, and that's why it's so important to have these two pieces of puzzle in your team going in the World Cup, because people might be questioning the places of these two players based on their bowling and batting. On a stronger suit, you might say that they're not the best of batters, they're not the best of ballers, but that's not the way you should be seeing them, because they can contribute in both the facets, actually on all the three facets. Because with Jadeja and Hardik Pandya, you at least get one run out. You get +10, you get +20 being saved in every game, and that's where you have to consider these two as your balance. They are the heart and soul of this team. You talk about Krunal and Hardik in Mumbai Indians. Jadeja, Hardik in Team India is that missing piece what you need, because
Yeah,
they can bat anywhere
definitely,
in the batting
definitely,
order.
because they with Hardik Pandya and Jadeja, you rightly pointed out that whenever they can completely perfectly, both can even finish their quota of 4 overs when one of the other main four bowlers are having a bad day. They
Yeah,
are the fifth and sixth bowling option, but they can both as well be the fifth bowling options for Team India on any given day. Because we have seen Jadeja. Yeah, one might say in the last 2-3 years he has not been that effective with the ball, but I am very happy to see Hardik Pandya contributing both with bat and ball for Team India. And talking about a player who was thought to be going like had his prime, was on the downfall, Hardik Pandya has proved everybody wrong, like since the start of the IPL.
yeah,
His
absolutely,
fitness with
absolutely.
the like his fitness was a major concern, because he was not being able to bowl those 4 overs uh, on a number of occasions.
संजय भाई,
But yeah,
आपको हिंदी में बोलना है तो बोलिए आप। हमारा भाई के लिए तंग हर सुख। मैं जानता हूँ हमारा देश की भाषा तो हिंदी है, पर हमारा देश का नेशनल लैंग्वेज तो हिंदी नहीं है। हमारे देश में 18 से ज़्यादा भाषा है, तो इसी वजह से हम इंग्लिश में बात करें क्योंकि हर बंदे को समझ सके। और हम इंडिया बेस्ड ब्रांड ही नहीं है, हम यूएई बेस्ड ब्रांड है, तो हम सबको समझने के लिए हम हिंदी में बात करें। मेरा हिंदी उतना खास नहीं है, फिर भी मैं हिंदी में बात करना चाहूँगा। संदीपानी, आपको क्या लगता है? अगले सवाल मैं हिंदी में पूछूँगा आपको। अ, अब अभी अगले मैच में और वेस्ट इंडीज़ सीरीज़ में क्या देखने चाहूँगा? क्योंकि अभी आपको पता है कि दीपक हुडा का कल आप देखना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि दीपक हुडा अच्छे फ़ॉर्म में भी है। दीपक हुडा
नहीं मुझे
आ रहे
लगता है
हैं,
ऐसे भी,
किसके
नहीं
जगह
मुझे
में आ
लगता
रहे
है
हैं?
ऐसे भी दीपक हुडा को अगला गेम मिलेगा, क्योंकि नंबर 4 पे जो आ रहे हैं हम लोगों का सूर्य कुमार यादव, हार्दिक पांड्या, ये लोग ऑलमोस्ट सेट है। मतलब ये लोग वर्ल्ड कप के लिए ऑलमोस्ट सेट है। तो अगर दीपक हुडा अभी इतने अच्छे फॉर्म में है, तो मैं डेफिनेटली देखना चाहूंगा कि ऋषभ पंत और रोहित शर्मा ने आज अच्छा ओपनिंग किया, तो मुझे लगता है कल भी ये लोग ही ओपन करेंगे। कोहली नंबर 3 पे खेलेगा, तो मैं सरप्राइज नहीं होऊंगा अगर सूर्य कुमार यादव को कल रेस्ट देके दीपक हुडा को खिलाया जाए, क्योंकि जितना भी गेम्स इन लोगों को मिले वर्ल्ड कप से पहले, दैट इज लाइक गोल्ड फॉर देम राइट नाउ। वो तो उनको उनको चाहिए ही अभी, क्योंकि इसी फॉर्म के ऊपर इन लोगों का स्क्वाड सिलेक्शन होगा, और स्क्वाड सिलेक्शन एक बार हो गया उसके बाद ज्यादा चेंजेस नहीं हो सकता। तो अभी मौका है, वर्ल्ड कप से पहले 14-15 गेम्स मिलेंगे टीम इंडिया को T20s में। अलग अलग प्लेयर्स को ट्राई करने के लिए। तो और दीपक हुडा जो फॉर्म में है, मेरे को लगता है डेफिनेटली कल उसको एक गेम मिलना चाहिए। और मेरे को ये
बिल्कुल।
भी लगता है कि बॉलर्स में भी इंडिया कुछ चेंजेस करेंगे। मुझे नहीं लगता बुमराह या भुवनेश्वर कुमार को ड्रॉप किया जाएगा, क्योंकि ये दोनों अभी इंडिया के प्राइम बॉलर्स है और इनको और थोड़ा देखा जाएगा। भुवनेश्वर कुमार इतने अच्छे फॉर्म में है तो उनको ड्रॉप बिल्कुल नहीं करना चाहिए। बाकी जो थर्ड
जी।
बॉलिंग ऑप्शन है, मुझे लगता है हर्षल पटेल को एक ब्रेक देके वो लोग दे कैन ट्राई, अवेश खान को भी ट्राई कर सकते हैं वो लोग, या फिर वो लोग अर्शदीप सिंह के साथ भी जा
मेरे को
सकते
लगता
हैं,
है कि
क्योंकि दोनों
कल
अच्छे बॉलर।
हर्षल पटेल के बिना मैं सोच रहा हूँ भुवनेश्वर कुमार को एक ब्रेक दे, क्योंकि भुवनेश्वर कुमार बहुत ज़्यादा गेम्स खेल चुका है हम
बट
लोगों
आई
के
थिंक
लिए,
कल
तो
के बाद उसको
बैलेंस
ब्रेक
खेल
मिल
चुका
जाएगा
है।
उनको।
नहीं, कल के बाद तो मिल जाएगा ओडीआई सीरीज़ का वक़्त, मतलब
या
5 दिन का छुट्टी तो मिल जाएगा, पर मेरे को लगता है कल के मैच के लिए भुवनेश्वर कुमार को ब्रेक दे के अवेश खान को लेके आ सकते हैं, या तो हर्षदीप सिंह जिसने बहुत अच्छे ओवर डाले थे पहले ओवर,
हाँ, अवेश
और
खान के
बहुत
ऊपर मैं
और
अर्शदीप, अगर ब्रेक किसी एक बॉलर को ब्रेक मिलता है और अगर ये लोग किसी और नए प्लेयर्स को अपॉर्चुनिटी देना
या तो
चाहते हैं, तो
उमरान
फिर
मलिक
मैं
को भी
बोलूंगा
ट्राई कर
कि
सकते हैं। उमरान मलिक एक बहुत ही
नहीं,
अच्छे
लेकिन
ऑप्शन
मेरे
है।
मेरे हिसाब से ये ऑर्डर होना चाहिए अभी अर्शदीप सिंह, बिकॉज आई एम अ ह्यूज अर्शदीप सिंह फैन राइट नाउ।
या
अर्शदीप सिंह, उसके नीचे है अवेश खान, उसके नीचे
मैं
है
भी।
उमरान मलिक।
Actually, I'm a huge fan of Arshdeep Singh as well. Switching to English now. I'm a huge fan of Arshdeep Singh because his over, right, his first over, which he bowled against England in the first T20, was just magic. There was no doubt about it. The way in which he swung the ball both the ways, he just reminded me of Shaheen Afridi's one of the overs which he bowled against India, or Mohammad Ami's one of the Asia Cup overs which he bowled. The left arm pacer
या
swinging the ball in at a decent pace. And he's a very good bowler, man. I mean, he's one of the most talented bowlers who we've got in the country. I know in 2018 World Cup, if you remember, he did not even get a chance because the bowlers who were higher in the pecking order were Kamlesh Nagarkoti and Shivam Mavi, who had terrific, if I remember, terrific under 19 World Cup, and we all were overjoyed with the way in which they bowled because they were
या
clicking high 140s, 150s, and we
2018
all
Under
thought,
19 World Cup was a clean sweep because we had batters like Shubman Gill, Prithvi Shaw right at the top, who was not like, these two players were not even given opportunities to the lower order batsmen to make an impact, because in all the games we saw Shubman Gill scoring some good runs, Prithvi Shaw getting some good start, and the
yeah,
bowling, especially Kamlesh Nagarkoti, made a huge impact in the T20 World Cup, in the
absolutely,
in the Under 19 World Cup.
absolutely.
Shivam Mavi and Kamlesh Nagarkoti at the top were amazing for Team India.
Absolutely. I've been down with very bad fever, so I think I'm going to stop the live here. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah.
It was great talking about it. And my fever was
It
kind
was
of
great of
cured
you to
with
come
India's.
in and conduct this live for 47 minutes with
Yeah,
high fever. I
absolutely.
mean,
And
that just shows your
my
commitment towards the
I
game.
think that it was kind of very hard to pull this live off, but then yeah, thank you Sandhimani for the support, and thank you all for joining in. It's always pleasure taking your questions, and we'd always love to answer them. And also, guys, whoever have joined us right now, please do follow us. Do not forget for that, because so that we can keep bringing you this exciting content and also play our fantasy contest with Boom 11. The link is in the bio. Click on it. It's absolute free of cost to play, and you can win so many rewards. So don't miss out on that opportunity. And also, guys, we will try to come live again tomorrow if possible and celebrate in a bigger way. I hope it's a clean sweep for India and England. Rohit Sharma maintains his 100% record until the end of 2023 World Cup. That's my dream. That's every Indian's dream. But I know it's practically too much to ask for. But I don't mind India losing as well in the progress of trying to achieve many big things. And I don't really
Yeah.
care about bilateral series because until 2019 we all celebrate a bilateral series so much that we ended up failing in the big occasions. So I don't mind us losing or getting thrashed in bilateral series in the strive for achieving success in the bigger occasions. And the bilateral series are the best possible ways to test yourself as well. And thank Hadusek for your support as well. कुछ चलता है, हिंदी में बोलना पड़ेगा, डर नहीं होंगे बोलते रहना। हाँ, ठीक है भाई। हिंदी में हम बोलेंगे तो इसमें क्या है, क्योंकि हम पाकिस्तानी तो नहीं है, हम इंडियंस हैं, तो हम हिंदी में ही बोलेंगे। हिंदी में बोलने में हमको कोई शर्म नहीं है, पर हमारा हिंदी उतना ख़ास नहीं है, उसी वजह से हम हिंदी में नहीं बोल रहे, क्योंकि क्या है कि हिंदी में बोलने के लिए कोई प्रॉब्लम तो दिक्कत तो नहीं है, पर हिंदी में बोलने के चक्कर में ना हमारा हिंदी इतना ख़राब है कि आपको भी लगेगा हम कुछ ज़्यादा ही कोशिश कर रहे हैं। बट थैंक यू भाई, हम हिंदी में फेसेस में बात बात तो करेंगे। फिर थैंक यू संदीपानी, थैंक यू ऑल, हैव अ गुड टाइम।